Hello everyone, thank you so much for being here, and rarely do you have a FICCI Frames day which starts off on such a high note. We do have Madhuri Dixit and Dr. Nene with us right here. So I'm going to call you both up on the stage and then we can start off. Please do come and join us. So look, how do I introduce the two of you? So, you know, Madhuri, I could start by talking about all the films you've done and the Filmfare Awards that you've done and all the great awards that you've done. Suffice it to say that on a personal note, everyone has that one favorite star that they've had all their life. For me, you've been that person, so it's great to be sitting here and talking to you. I tried to interview you way back in 1992. Ayodhya intervened. I tried to interview you in 1994. I had to go to Kashmir.
Oh my
so
God.
finally, here we are, and I'm getting a chance to interview you, so it's really great to have you here.
Finally,
At FICCI
yes.
Frames. Dr. Nene, cardiologist, entrepreneur. Some of the things that you're working on in the digital field are really, really interesting and striking. I'm going to talk to you about that, not just Dance with Madhuri, but I'm going to take the occasion to push you a little bit on some of the other plans which are also really, really exciting. I'm going to start off with, this is the conference that has really been talking more and more on digital. It's becoming a digital world?
Yes, you know, I really believe, and so does Ram, that, you know, how we view content is going to change drastically. It has already started. You know, it's not just about the 70 movie parda, like they used to say, and that's where it is. Magic happens everywhere now. Even on your little phone, the iPhone, the smartphones, magic is happening there as well. So it doesn't matter whether it's a 70 it doesn't matter whether it's just a small, you know, in centimeters. The screen is changing, everything is changing, the way we view everything is changing.
If you're building an app or you're building something for a digital, for a mobile phone, it's totally different. The screen is smaller and it's interactive to a much larger extent.
You know, before we go on to that, I have to tell you something, that today there's so much information that kids have, you know, at their fingertips, like Ram was saying, that it's hard to tell them stories that we've heard. You know, Chand pe, there was a woman living on the Chand, and wo aisa dekhti hai tumhe, raat ko aati hai. You kids are like, Mom, do you know there's no gravity on the moon? Do you know nobody can live there? It's like, okay, I can't even tell you stories anymore. No fairy tales now. Everything has to be facts, and nothing can be really fiction. And our journey began in a similar way because Ram was working on his healthcare project. He was starting on his healthcare venture. And one day I was just sitting, and I was wondering, I said, you know what? Dance is my passion. You know, I started thinking, can we do this for people? Can I do this for people? Can I share with them this passion? You know, I got to learn with the best of gurus. They all are good teachers. Can I get, you know, people like that to teach everyone? And that's how the journey for Dance with Madhuri started, actually.
Ram, but one of the issues in this, and I'm sure you face this, is there is still a lack of connectivity. I mean, India is changing. Connectivity will come, and hopefully in the next 3 or 4 years, it will be more ubiquitous. Right now, there is a lack of connectivity. Is that one of the reasons why you took the decision to go back, in a sense, from digital to slightly older media? I'm not sure you can call Tata Sky old media, but at least back on the television set.
India is still in its nascency, I would say, in broadband technology. And the cost of content, the cost of gigabytes of data is still too high. And that'll change as Wi-Fi becomes public, as you get 4G penetration everywhere. We will leapfrog that problem. But in the process, what we said is to get to the last mile and to enjoy it as it should be enjoyed, our product, and we had almost 150 hours of content, over 1,800 lessons, needed to be everywhere. And so one of the partnerships we brought in was with DTH. And one of our first partners was Tata Sky, and we took it out to 15 million people. Within 3 weeks, we had 100,000 paid subscribers.
All right, but let me just shift focus away from digital for a bit. I've been asking for questions on social media also, and a lot of people are still absolutely fascinated and interested by, you know, the stories of your life and what happened when you went out there. So I am going to, and I know you've repeated some of this in the past, but I'm going to take the occasion to ask you again. So, starters, when you went from here to America, you've often said that you really enjoyed that feeling of freedom that you had at that time. You could be anonymous, you could go to shops, you could go to malls, you could do all of that. Was there ever a time when you actually had the feeling of going to somebody and saying, "Tum janti ho, main kaun hu?"
Yeah, not really, because you know how Indians are everywhere today. Even in Denver, we did have Indians there who did recognize me. When I used to go shopping or grocery, sometimes, you bump into people, you meet another Indian while you're picking up tomato and gobi and all that. But it's so courteous, it's so nice. They just say, "Oh, we love you, we love your movies," and stuff like that. And they do respect the fact that, it's your private moment and you should be left alone. And they say, "We just wanted to tell you that," and, they kind of go their way. But sometimes, it used to get a little scary for me because I had just started driving there. And, I used to go to strange, like, I'm just trying to find addresses and stuff like that for the first time. I've never done that in India, right? Because I always had people with me wherever I went. So for me, it was also a little scary going out on your own, not having anyone to, kind of just take you there. That's what we were used to in India, right? We just sit in the car and the driver just takes you there. Sometimes you don't even know where you're going and he just takes you there. And you have to find it on your own. तभी थोड़ा कभी-कभी लगता था, I wish people would recognize me and they would say, "No, you're going the wrong way. Go that way. That's the way you want to go."
And of course, the big problem that you will increasingly be facing going forward, and especially if you're sat in Lamas, when people are coming up to you and you're not expecting it, is that earlier they would ask you for autographs, and that's fine. Now everyone asks you for a selfie. And you're saying, "My God, look at the way my hair is."
Yeah, the day you have oil in your hair and you think nobody's going to see you today, and you're like the shabbily dressed, and you're like, "I just want to go out, just get a pair of something, milk lana hai bachon ke liye," and you just step out, and that's the day you're going to meet someone, saying that, "Can we have a picture?" And you're like, "Oh my God, now she's going to have a picture with me, looking like this." So it does happen sometimes.
And what did you say? "Can I
yes,
give you an autograph?"
Let's do it. Because they're your fans.
So there are all those pictures of Madhuri Dixit out there with oil in her hair somewhere on the internet, which people can now go and find. Can we put them all up in this? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. And is it, actually, and again, this question I'm sure you've been asked, but is it actually true that you had absolutely no idea of who she was?
So no one believes it, but I grew up in LA and I worked at UCLA and with a lot of the celebrities, but I hadn't grown up watching Indian films. And so the way we put it is everyone put their pants on one leg at a time, and you needed to treat them the same way. But to answer your question, I really didn't know because I didn't grow up watching the films. I couldn't speak Hindi. I spoke Marathi fluently. And so for me, the Hindi films didn't have a draw. I'd only seen 2 films. One was Amar Akbar Anthony, and the other one was Pakiza, which my mom had an 8-track tape, and she would have in our car all the time. And I knew like all the lyrics to the songs.
So have you watched all of her films by now or not yet?
I've seen the ones where, so there's 2 rules in our house. One is we never talk shop. So all of her awards, all of her other stuff is all at the office. And she doesn't want the kids or us to be affected. That's how she grew up. The second is that I've been to some of the film premieres, and that's what I've seen, but she's not very comfortable watching films with family. And so for me, watching them separately is kind of an odd thing. And so really, I've seen the ones since we were married. We've been married for 18 years. And so I've seen those only, and maybe a little bit from Hum Apke Hai Kaun and Dil To Pagal Hai, but not a whole lot.
You're trying to tell me everybody in this hall has seen more Madhuri movies than you have.
Yes.
The funny thing is, even my kids get a little skittish when they're watching my movies. So there was this movie called KOYLA, which was coming on the TV. And I was just leaving out to go out to get something, and they were watching it. And when I came back, the kids had gone for their swim lesson. And on the computer, I saw this little note hanging. Because when I left, the song was going on where I eat bang and I get, a little high and we sing bum chicka bum, some song going on. So I came back home and I saw this little note. And I said, "What is this?" So I started reading it, and it was like written, "Dear Mom, why are you acting so weird in this movie? Love, Arin." So my son had written me a little note, say, "Why are you acting so funny and weird in this movie?"
So you've never actually sat down and said, "Okay, let's all sit together and let's get some pizza and watch a Madhuri movie."
No. I think it's not me. I mean, I wouldn't want to watch my own movie with my own family. And, for me, I want to spend time with them, just talking to them, playing with them, and, there are other things to do.
And how are they adjusting to the fact, because they would have also grown up the first few years of their life with you being completely anonymous, and now suddenly back here, you're not anonymous anymore. So how are they dealing with that transition?
Yeah, I mean, it's a transition, but I think the kids, they chilled out because initial, years of their lives, they just know me as their mom, and, they just know me as someone who takes care of them and does everything for them. And now suddenly there's this other identity. So when they were little, they used to get a little frazzled with, people shoving the cameras in my face and trying to take pictures and all that. But now they have fun with it. Like they'll go and, they'll be like, they'll come in front of me, they'll photobomb me and stuff like that, when somebody else is clicking. So they have fun with it now. But initially, yes, it was a little odd because they used to go to school and my son came home one day and says, why is everybody asking me, what's your mom's name? And, or sometimes they say, is she your mom? They know you are my mom. Why do they come and ask me, is she your mom? Those kind of things. And my little one was like 7 years old and he got, did you know your mom is a big star? Somebody said that to him in school. He comes home and he says, but mom, you're a mom, right? You're my mom. I said, yeah, of course I'm your mom. So they've gone through those little cycles, but now they're fine.
So you're still getting the chance to do more normal type things, like ever taking them to a shop or cooking and all of that stuff, which they're used to seeing you do?
It's a little less in Mumbai because, you have cooks here who cook for you, and I have mine since the past, I don't know how many years, 25 years. But we still have fun. Of course, we go out for movies and, we do the other stuff.
But Transformer movies or that sort of stuff?
Yeah, more like superhero movies.
Suicide Squad.
Iron Man and, yeah.